So let's get to Levi's question here with what did actually happen. He says, when the drive shaft broke, was it an overlook from you guys, do you think? Or was it an error on Donut's side? What's your feeling on this? That's the big thing. Looking at this video, they were having a good time comparing to, I think they were showing some kind of Toyota. Can't remember, was it a
Yeah.
Tundra or one of the Toyotas, maybe a Tacoma or something like that, versus the Ascender, and the main host there, he was having a really good time. Him and one of the other guys staying in the Ascender,
Yeah.
cooking, doing all this kind of stuff. You run me through what happened in the video from your point of view when the drive shaft
Yeah.
broke.
It's definitely not Donut Media's fault, and it's definitely not an oversight on ours. It was an unknown.
Okay.
So, being an unknown, you don't know what you don't know. And so, what we learned was when you're going up a 30-degree climb, it's similar to rock climbing. There's multiple lines you can take. And if you rock climbing, you put one wrong motion, you fall. Same with off roading. You look at the most extreme rigs, like there's a YouTuber that did a recovery, and he had a phenomenal built out rig, but one wheel in the wrong rut and the wrong twist, and it breaks. It's
Mhm.
off-roading is it's beyond it's an art. There's so many ways about it, and
Mhm.
one of the unknowns that we learned is if we want to continue to push the limits of expedition trucks, then it's time to take the stock drive shaft and drivetrain to the next limit. And so now we went back to the drawing boards. We're working on a new upgraded axle, a new upgraded drive shaft, and a couple other components that I can't quite yet disclose.
Okay. All right. So it seems like they went up the hill because they were going up. They went up that hill at least once, and then came back down, and then had the guys switch out. They were
Yeah.
driving the Toyota, and then that's when this all happened. What do you think about that?
Um, it's it is what it is. I'll say.
It
I
should it
can't
should be able
judge.
to go up and down like 10 times or 100 times, in my opinion, right?
In theory, yes, but once
Right.
again, if you look at the team that recovered
Hmm.
it, or even
Hmm.
any off-road, I remember when my
Hmm.
brothers were building out Jeeps, and they would take the original
Hmm.
Cherokee, one of my favorite Jeeps, I think, minimal computers and so forth,
Hmm.
and man, we would spend months building it out, and we would go out and have a good time, and then somewhere along the way, you turn too quick, you accelerate too quick, something breaks.
Hmm.
I believe we as humans, if we're imperfect, it's impossible to make a perfect product. It's how enabled is the driver, the user, or a company willing to stand behind their product and have that continuous improvement.
Okay, and I think that, everything breaks out there, and when you're doing this stuff, from my very limited experience, you need to go slow, and then I think the bigger you are, the slower you need to go, right? So I
Yeah.
know, I've done some of this stuff on small, like I had a Forerunner and stuff like that, and even with that, you need to go slow. So if you've got something even bigger, you really need to go slow and consider the weight and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any comment on the weight? Because I know I saw in the video there were a lot of comments on the weight, and I think in some articles that went up there were weight comments as well.
Yeah, so it's definitely not 20,000 pounds. I think they mistake us with maybe one of our competitors. I'm not sure. We
Hmm.
weighed in 18,200 something whenever we
Hmm.
sent it out to Donut Media, and that was with fuel and water in the tanks. And then we're in the process of cutting that down even more. Our goal is for the production model to be 15,000 pounds.
Hmm. Okay, is that within
In
what?
regards to
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Good. Oh yeah, that's well within GVWR. Even
Okay.
right now where we're at, we're within GVWR. In
Hmm.
regards to the second host in the video, I mean, I value and respect what Donut Media does.
Hmm.
They helped a small startup company in Springfield, Missouri, make it.
Hmm.
And I had just had two technicians go to O'Reilly's and Menards, and they were recognized there. So I'm forever grateful for what they did and the
Hmm.
exposure they got us. I just wish people took some time and not judge us on a couple of key features that we're working on improving, and kind of seeing the big picture, the story, the vision, the what we're trying to accomplish. I
Yeah.
think that mirrors into the society we live in. Is like give people a chance. Like so many people have visions, and I think they're scared to do it because of the backlash. I have an employee that I've been trying to encourage to start a YouTube channel, and now he's even more scared to start a YouTube channel reading some of these comments and trying to explain to him,
yeah.
like, it's just do it. Like, there's
No,
always going to be
listen.
people that don't.
Things are going to go wrong. A couple, like maybe it was a month ago at this point. I had a blowout on the tire, and when I had that blowout, I made a video and I told everyone this is all me. I'm the one that messed up. I made the mistakes. I should have done things better, but you learn from that and then you move on. And of course, there were
Yeah,
people like, oh, you're stupid. You're terrible. You shouldn't have done it. And I take all of that, right? And I think that same
yeah,
thing goes for you guys. I think you're the company. You created the product, you make the claims and put it out there, and when things go wrong, you ultimately have to take the responsibility. And then on our side, we have to realize, hey, this is a new company that is pushing the limits and doing things, I think, in a very big way for a company that's relatively small. So things are going to go wrong, and we need to give you a
yeah,
chance to fix it. No one got hurt. We need to give you a chance. From the point of view of Donut Media, I don't know those guys, but I have run into them at SEMA. I have been looking at their stuff for a long time. They don't seem like bad guys. I don't think they did you wrong in the video. I don't think they were trying to like do a hit piece on you guys or anything. They were really, really like grateful in the video, and they were impressed and all that kind of stuff. But this is what happened, right?
yeah. I agree 100%. I mean, they did what we asked them to do. Like, why would we be upset at that? And
Mm-hmm.
so I know moving forward, another valuable lesson we learned from this. I know we talked about being honest and open.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we have in motion or in place already is a 5-day certification process. So whenever we do launch our production models in the
Mm-hmm.
coming year, we're looking and hoping for spring of next year. We have a off-road course that we're in the process of building. It's a 13-acre off-road course on site. It'll have 30-degree climbs. It'll have creeks. It'll have rocks, logs, and so each one of our clients is required to go through a 5-day certification. So a certified trainer is going to go through and teach them recovery, teach them how to do these 30-degree slopes, teach them, how to self-recover. So we'll have a sandbox where we're going to actually sink it in the sand and help the client self-recover out of the sand. We're going to have a mud pit where they can go in a mud pit. We're going to have, different scenarios that they'll come across as they take these expeditions across the beautiful country that we live in.
Okay. Okay, awesome. I'm putting up comments. I'm not necessarily getting to everything. If you guys have questions, let me know. Here's a tough question for me. Why did you guys leave the Ascender on that mountain for a week for other people to drive by there and see it out there?
Yeah, so envision a 30-degree slope,
Mm-hmm.
a 18,000 pound expedition vehicle prototype,
Mm-hmm.
and the recovery of that. So as you can envision, that's a really challenging recovery. And so it took us about 5 days to coordinate that recovery. And the cool thing is, another thing we learned from there is recovery. There's always the chance that, I mean, look at the boating industry, look at the aerospace industry, look at the RV industry.
Mm-hmm.
Things break, things get stuck, and I think we had given the industry standard of 3 months, 8 months, sometimes years to recover something,
Mm-hmm.
without naming any names. We had a 5-day recovery on a prototype. And so now we're putting together an entire manual for 24-hour recovery. Can we set the new industry standard? Imagine being able to advertise, hey, we have a 24-hour recovery in place. I think that would be
Okay.
phenomenal.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, and so you know, Donut Media brought Matt's off-road recovery in there. I think he did a good job, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys know about all this? Did you say, okay, it's tough to get this out of there. We'll let these guys go in and do it?
Yeah, we went through multiple avenues of trying to recover it. We looked at
Mm-hmm.
cranes, trucks. I even entertained helicopter, military, Coast Guard helicopter. I mean, we
Yeah,
we,
that would
we
be
tackled it from
expensive.
every front.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's unless you can get it to be like a training. But anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we found that the most effective and efficient way of recovery was to do a collaboration with Matt's Off-Road Recovery. Donut Media and Zach did a wonderful job coordinating with our company and coordinating with those two YouTube channels to
Mm-hmm.
do that. And you saw it took less than 2 hours.
Yeah, he did a great job. So, kudos for that.
I'm gonna go outside. We're next to a major street, so it might be a little bit loud. So I
Yeah,
apologize in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. Bear with us with the noise and everything out here, guys. But I want you guys to get a look at this since it came off the mountain. First look.
Yeah,
So it
so
still
it just
lives.
got back.
She
We
still
haven't
lives.
done any.
Hmm. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we just got back from California, so we haven't done any of the major upgrades yet. It's all still a work in progress. But it drove itself off the mountain. We upgraded the drive shaft, and it drove itself back from California all the way to Missouri. Like I said, we're pushing 22,000 miles in R&D testing. We got the big wheels. It's pretty tall there. The coating, I mentioned in one of my other videos, we do a Kevlar-based product to ensure it doesn't scuff and scratch as the traditional liners do. Compartment doors throughout. So another important thing, making sure you can access to repair it or service it when you're traveling. Speakers are an upgrade option that's not standard. A lot of people ask, why is there so many speakers? Speakers on the top. Standard would be a roof rack. We put speakers because it's our prototype and we take it to trade shows. Spare tire with its own winch system, and then a secondary winch on the bottom there. Better yet, I wish I had more than 7 minutes. I would go illustrate by driving on some.
Oh, drive around. Yeah.
Go over some curves.
Yeah, we still have 3 minutes. If you want to drive around, you can.
Drive over some curbs and stuff.
Oh, that's up to you, man. If you want to do it.